So what they do is that over a period of time, people have realized that while conventional conflict or conventional capability is always going to be there in your hands, because that is the final, insurance policy that any country has. Tanks, aircraft, nuclear weapons. These are the final arguments of any state. But under the nuclear overhang, under the nuclear threshold, there is always space either for limited war, which is a conventional war, or hybrid warfare, in which there is no bloodshed, but you can cause a lot of unease to the adversary. And this is where information warfare comes in. And information warfare has got various platforms. It can be there in print. So you find a lot of articles which are against India, false articles, fake articles, in reputed magazines like the New York Times and the Washington Post. And they're totally fake. And I'll tell you why I think they are fake. Because the people who write those articles are the same people who say that nobody is allowed to go into Kashmir. And then they write an article about Kashmir. So how can you write about Kashmir without going to Kashmir? This beats all logic, but they write it and they get space. Similarly, on television, you have various channels who would, both inside the country and outside the country, who would take a certain narrative, and we call them fifth columnists. People who open the doors of the fort from within. This is something that I've been saying, that the doors of India's forts and castles have always been opened from within and not from outside. And lastly, social media. This actually exploded with social media on the scene, in which a lot of people along the way have used social media to harm India, to create a certain narrative. All these things come under the ambit of what we know as influence operations. The ability to influence the minds of, if I may use the word enemy country, the enemy country's population, their way of thinking, create pressure.